start the pre-trip by looking to make sure your oil level is adequate. Find your dipstick, pull it out, check it, get a cloth or use your shirt, whatever you like to use, clean it off, stick it back in, make sure it's locked into place, wait about 30 seconds. Pull it back out. You'll check your oil level. This one's actually a little bit low, as you can see. There's your oil mark. There's your mark, your full mark up here. You can always let it sit for a little while and check it after that. Check your power steering fluid. Make sure it's full. Open it up. Just get your finger, stick it in there. If it touches the tip of your pinky, you know it's full. You can also tell that it's full by looking at the fill line. This one's actually not full. Then you're going to start by looking, make sure you have no visual damages to your engine. Check your hose clamps, give them a tug. Make sure that the boot is seated properly, no tears in it. Look at your belts, inspect your radiator hoses. Make sure that also, again, the hose clamps are tight. No visual leaks from your radiator hose. Get a flashlight. Check your pulleys and your belts. Make sure your belts are not frayed, torn, cracked, missing. Then you're gonna look at your tires. Make sure your tires have adequate tread depth. No visual tears or cuts inside your sidewall or your tread. No nails. Come over here, you're gonna check your drag link, pull on a drag link. As long as you have no play within this knuckle right here, then you know your drag link is tight and is in proper working condition. Pull on your pitman arm here, this is your pitman arm. And when you pull on it, if it's loose at this bolt, you will get side to side play like that. Same thing with your drag link down here. You're gonna check this knuckle right here, up and down, is also tight. You'll look at your leaf spring bolts, make sure there's no rust marks indicating that they're moving side to side. Check your shocks right here. Make sure your shocks are not leaking. You'll notice that they'll be leaking out to the bottom. From the halfway mark to the bottom, they'll be all wet. Make sure your nuts and bolts are all tight. Make sure that your rims are not damaged. Your lug nuts are all tight. If your lug nuts were not tight, you would have streaking coming through here with rust water streaks. You visually wipe the cap. Make sure that you're visually full at the line right here. You'll see that it is filled up there to this line. Make sure that your radiator fluid is at the fill mark where it says cold fill. You want to make sure that it's filled all the way to the top there. Never open it when it's hot. Make sure your windshield is not damaged. No nicks or no nicks in the windshield from rocks, no cracks that are in your visual path. Make sure your mirrors are in working order. No cracks, no missing pieces, they're not hanging off. As you can tell, this one is good. And we're just gonna start by looking at the visual after this. Now your turn signal light is working. They come through, make sure all your fairings are tight. That way you have nothing to worry about going down the road. Back here, you would obviously make sure your air lines are hooked up properly. This one is not hooked up because we were just doing this for test purposes. Your blue side is always over here. Your red side is always over here. And your electrical cord is always in the middle. Check, make sure your step is secured. Make sure your tires are inflated. Either check them with a tire gauge, or you can get a rubber mallet or just a hammer and tap them. You can hear the sound difference. And you'll be able to tell if it's low. You'll also be able to tell because it's popped off the bead. Making sure that you have no cuts, no gouges, no nothing, no nails in your tread. Just take your hand with a glove on so you're not like me and wipe your hand against the tread. Make sure you have nothing sticking out of it. Then you're going to want to make sure that your wheel seals are not leaking from this portion here If you have these covers on, all you do is you push this in and then you turn this cover. So we'll do that again. Push in this knob and just turn the cover until it pops off. And you're going to visually inspect all your lug nuts, make sure they're tight, you have no rust streaking, you have no oils leaking. After that, place your cover back on and just continue visually looking, make sure you have your mud flap on. You're going to come down here, make sure you have your marker lights and your turn signals are on. You're going to want to listen for air leaks. You'll hear it hissing. Try and figure out where your air leaks are coming from if you do have an air leak. Check your side rails. Make sure you have no cracks in them. This is a very, very important structural integrity of the trailer. It is a DOT violation. They'll put you out of service for any cracks inside this cross member. You don't have to go too thorough in depth, but you'll visually see them here around the actual cross member bolts. Or sometimes if you damage the trailer or hit something, you will visually notice that there's a gouge missing. Always make sure your hazardous placards are plain and they are not visually out stating that it's a hazardous material or flammable or corrosive, because they will give you a fine for that. Always make sure your placards are white and covered and back to normal. Again, same thing as up in the front. You want to check your lug nuts, you want to check your wheel seals. Make sure that there's no lug nuts missing, no oil that is leaking. This, I believe, is a grease-filled hub, because there's no way to add oil to this hubcap. There will be a fill port in most of them that will take hub oil. This one, I believe, is grease-filled. Check, make sure your tires have proper tread. No gouges, no nicks, no nothing that's protruding out of the sidewall that is going to put you out of service. Again, take your hammer or your tire gauge, check your tire pressure. Take your hammer and hit your tires. You will hear the sound difference. Visually inspect that your wires and your air lines are not dragging on the ground. None of them are broke apart. Make sure you have no damage to your subframe. Make sure you visually make sure that your pins are in the hole and locked in at all times. Again, make sure your mud flaps are inside your trailers, or on the back of your trailers. Up there, electrical light. We're gonna do that, then we'll come back and make sure that the lights all work in the back of the trailer. Once you hook up your lights, you'll visually see that there is an ABS light on. Sometimes they'll stay on until you start rolling, or sometimes it indicates that you do have an ABS issue. But I can tell you now that this will go away because your ABS did function. You'll hear it click a couple times and then go on and off. Sometimes it stays on, sometimes this goes off. Look back here, make sure that your license plate is secured and is facing the right direction. License plate light is working. We have marker light, another marker light. They're all lit. Turn signal's working. DOT bumper is straight. There's no bends, cracks, nothing missing, because that is also a DOT violation. Make sure, again, your other lights are working properly. You have your mud flap that is properly secured. Same thing as on the other side, just repeating the process, checking your tires, make sure there's no cuts, gouges, nothing inside the tread, make sure you have nothing protruding, you have no flat tires. Take your hammer or gauge, hit your tire, check your tire pressure. We know that these are all good. Again, just double check, make sure there's no leaks of oil, no loose lug nuts. We know that they're all tight. And if you really wanted to get into depth, we can crawl underneath here, and we're going to, this is what I like to do. You're going to check, make sure your wheel seals are not leaking. This is where a flashlight comes in handy to get underneath here. And you just take your flashlight and visually inspect your airbags. Make sure you have no wet marks on your rims to indicate that you have leaking wheel seals. This is disc brake, so it's a little bit harder to see than it is compared to a drum brake. But if you had drum brakes, you would be able to see clearly right to the wheel seal if you have anything leaking in that process. So let's go ahead and come back out and we'll continue our visual walk around. And we'll enter the truck. Alright. As we continue walking down, you're going to visually inspect that we have the mid-turn light that is working. Again, you have no placards facing out there indicating you're hauling any hazardous cargo. No more cracks. All your crossmember bolts are in place. Check your landing gear. Especially if you're dropping a trailer, always make sure both your landing gears are down. As repeated on from the other side, mud flap. It's hanging, it's working. Check the tires again. Once again, you're gonna push this in, pop it off. You're gonna do this for every tire. Every tire that has this cover, pop it off and visually inspect. These are all oil-filled hubs, so you wanna make sure they're not leaking. No lug nuts that are loose. Take your hand and try and turn the lug nuts. That's what the DOT officer will do. If you can find it before they do, that's always a plus. Always make sure your fuel cap is on and present. Never have a plastic bag, any kind of rubber covering, because that is a DOT violation as well. You will get a ticket for that. Always make sure your quarter fenders are good. And as the same process in the back, I like to visually inspect, make sure there's no leaking wheel seals. You can disconnect your truck from the trailer. Always make sure you undo your lines. Pull your truck and trailer away from one another, and you can take your flashlight, and then you can get in here, visually inspect, make sure you have no leaking wheel seals, no broken leaf springs, no brake chambers that are hanging off, U-bolts missing, so on and so forth. Make sure your shocks are not leaking. Always make sure you have your catwalk cover is properly secured. And as you're walking, check, make sure you have no visual damages, no broken door handles, no broken windows, broken mirrors. Everything here is in working order. All the covers are there, glass is intact, no broken windows. Turn signals working here. And then you want to make sure that your windshield is not broken on this side as well. Make sure all your marker lights up top are working. You need to have all marker lights working and all lights as well. As repeated on the other side, check your shocks, make sure it's not leaking. Check your hose clamps, make sure they're all tight. No visual tears. This is very important. This is a costly roadside repair if you don't check these. Just give everything a tug. Here, you'll check for belt tensioner. This is your belt tensioner right here. And you're just gonna pull, make sure your truck and your serpentine belt is nice and tight. That is very important. Make sure your bumper is not broken, dragging, so on and so forth with that as well. Hood mirrors, if they're on the truck, they have to be functional and operational. This is all intact, no glass is broken, covers are there. Once you have done your pre-trip to your satisfaction, close your hood, verify your headlights are on, marker lights are working, turn signals. Once you do all that, always close your hood, make sure they are latched. That's latched. Take your way around to your other side. Always close your bumper. And make sure your latch is always secured in front of the bolt. So that way it keeps tension on the lever and it does not open as you're going down the road. Again, on the driver's side, you can visually inspect. We have headlight that is working. We have turn signal marker light that is working. Our hood mirror is all together. No glass is broken. There is the option in the cab. I believe on this that Yes, so there is a button in here that says light test. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's right here on the Freightliners, right above your trailer brake handle. It says light test. That you can sit from inside the cab, press that up, and that will visually go through and manually or electronically go through and check all your lighting systems for your truck, your trailer. If there is a fault, it will send a message to the truck on the dash and pop up as a fault. And it'll be able to tell you what light isn't properly working with your truck. As you're inside the cab, check your horn. Don't do it at night, obviously, if you're in a truck stop. Honk your horn, make sure it's working. Always check your windshield wipers and your washer fluid. Make sure they are working properly. Make sure your heat and AC is working properly, because that also is a DOT regulation that you have to have it working. And you verify your mirrors, your mirrors are in working order as well from inside the cab. They function. You can move them side to side, up and down. Make sure your switch is working properly. Make sure you have free of debris and clutter on your ground. It always looks better if you ever get pulled into a weigh station and you do get inspected. They'll look in, make sure your cleanliness of your truck is a very big importance of an inspection. Then you have to make sure, obviously this window's rolled down, you would make sure your window rolls up and down, functions properly. As you can see here, it does. Always use 3 points of contact getting in and out of the truck as well. If you have a reefer, come over here and verify your reefer does work. So go ahead and we'll press this button. You see that there is a light on for reefer power. We'll come over here. We'll verify that the switch is in the start and run position. We're going to go through and let it do its cycle. This one has inactive alarms in the memory. You can go up here to the alarm button and it says no active alarm. If there is active alarms, then you know that you need to get your reefer looked at or bring it back to the shop or a dealer or wherever your dispatcher tells you to go to. This is at set point, it is at 26 degrees. So we're gonna let this one start up and wait for it to turn itself on to make sure that the reefer does start and run. It may take a minute. As you're looking here as well, always make sure your airlines are stowed away. This is not the proper way to stow airlines in this here. You always want to make sure that it is either connected to the truck or in its proper holder, which is back here behind the side fairing. Always make sure you keep chains and binders only in here. Do not keep any straps. This is going to get loud. You can hear the buzzing. It's about to start. So here we have verified that the reefer unit does run. As it's running, you're going to let it run for a little while until you notice the big temperature number is going down. There is an option that says status, and that it says okay. You know the reefer is in good working order.